So today I replaced a round type igniter on a GE XL44 oven. Most of the ovens nowadays have like a square type igniter, but this one was round. So it was kind of a pain in the neck to find, but I found that one of the local appliance stores had a whole bunch of them in stock. But basically in order to do that, you need to take the oven door off, take your racks out, and take the bottom drawer of your oven off. And remember to unplug the oven because you're working with like 220 volts, and make sure you disconnect the gas. So at either rate, if you actually remove this bolt here and come underneath your oven here, and at the back of the oven there's actually two bolts here and one right next to it. There it is. Two bolts right up at the top there. And if you take those two bolts off, you unplug your oven at this connector here and the green connector there. You unplug the igniters, the igniter connections, and once you undo those bolts, you can actually take the flame distribution bar and pull the whole thing out. Right up here you have the old igniter here. See, this thing is like black and charred, and it's pretty well burned out. But the connections at the back, because the round igniter is a universal igniter, it doesn't come with connections on the back. So basically you have to cut the connections on the old igniter and wire splice them onto the new igniter cables, which were done right at the back here. And you can see the ceramic wire nuts that are connecting the wires there. Just make sure that you have a real good tight connection with those wire nuts, because that's basically your ignition for this type of igniter. The reason you have to remove the flame dispersal bar is that the round type igniter is actually mounted onto the flame dispersal bar, so you actually have to take two screws off the side, which are located right around the back here, and just take it off. Just remember that it has a porcelain compound to it, so if you drop it, it's going to crack, it's going to break. It's pretty fragile. So the other thing is, you don't want to get any oils from your skin onto there, onto the igniter, because it'll also cause a short. So make sure you put some gloves on when you do it. But it was fairly straightforward to do. Only cost me about 2 hours out of the day, so it wasn't bad. But that's basically how you replace it. Just make sure that you shut the gas off and you disconnect that oven before you service it. And otherwise, feel free to comment. Thanks a lot.